You unlock this door with the key of duality. Beyond it, another dimension. A dimension not just of sight and sound, but of split-screen spectacle. You're moving into a land of paradox, where glitter meets nuclear fallout, where existential dread dances in high heels. You have just crossed over into the Barbenheimer Zone. July 21st, 2023. 2 films, 1 weekend, 1 cultural phenomenon. Denotation. On one side, Greta Gerwig's Barbie, a candy-coated critique of identity, feminism, and plastic perfection. On the other hand, Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, a broad mediation on power, consequence, and the birth of the atomic age. 2 directors, 2 visions, 2 competing studios, Warner Brothers and Universal, locked in a cosmic ballet of contrast and convergence. Audiences, though, didn't choose a side. They chose both. Pink dresses at noon and trench coats at night. A meme became a movement. Irony became ritual. And cinema, for a brief moment, remembered it has not just the power to entertain, but to unify, to provoke, and to reflect on society. This is a story of the phenomenon that rewrote box office logic, shattered genre boundaries, and reminded a fractured world that even the most unlikely pairings can spark something unforgettable. On tonight's episode, Barbenheimer, the day screens collided. But first we must ask ourselves, what is a Barbenheimer? Barbenheimer, a combination of the words Barbie and Oppenheimer, in reference to the movies of the same name, both released on July 21st, 2023, causing a slew of Barbie and Oppenheimer memes, which combine the aesthetics and themes of both films, mashing up the pink and the gray, the bright and the dreary. The word had originally spawned from a tweet on social media, and thus the Barbenheimer meme was born. Discourse around the film began to grow, and many saw this as an opportunity to have both films as a double feature.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
And now that we know what a Barbenheimer is, we can now discuss how it all started. In December of 2020, citing the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on cinema, Warner Brothers had announced it would release all of its upcoming 2020 release films and subsequent films on its streaming service HBO Max, in a move that was nicknamed Project Popcorn. This decision was heavily criticized the same month by director Christopher Nolan, so you can imagine how mad he got when he heard that his movies were going to be put on streaming, not in cinema. Christopher Nolan had his films distributed by Warner Brothers since 2002. In statements made to The Hollywood Reporter, Nolan said, "Some of our industry's biggest filmmakers and our most important movie stars went to bed the night before thinking they were working for the greatest movie studio and woke up to find out they were working for the worst streaming service." Nolan had also stated that Warner Brothers doesn't even know what they're losing, and that the decision made no economic sense. Warner Brothers had eventually backed off from the streaming exclusive release plan for their movies in March 2022, but the thing is, the damage had already been done. Nolan had lost his trust in Warner Brothers, and Nolan was out, and he decided to look to other studios to try to figure out who would release his movie.
Don't call me. Don't come by my house. We're done.
Following that fiasco with Warner Brothers, Nolan looked to other studios to release his film. It was revealed in September 2021 that his next project, Oppenheimer, would be distributed by Universal Pictures. Warner Brothers really missed out on that one. And the thing is, Universal Pictures, they basically heard that Warner Brothers wasn't treating Nolan right, and they wanted to give Nolan the full package. Universal Pictures said, Nolan, we're going to give you $100 million for the production budget and another $100 million for the marketing budget. Easy money for Universal Pictures. They also said, Nolan, you're going to have full creative control. They really believed in him. They also granted 20% of first dollar gross revenue. Very nice. Universal also implemented a 3-week blackout period before and after the film's release so that none of the other studio releases would coincide with Oppenheimer. They didn't want anything competing with its prize gem. The following month, Universal announced Oppenheimer would premiere on July 21st, 2023. Warner Bros. Had initially scheduled the animated comedy Coyote vs. ACME, a film based on the Looney Tunes franchise, for the same day. But in April 2022, it announced that Barbie would instead be released on that day, putting it in direct competition with Oppenheimer. They killed it. They killed it. They killed Coyote vs. ACME. They gutted it. They said you're never gonna see it again, not even on streaming. They killed Coyote vs. ACME, a fully completed Looney Tunes movie where the Wile E. Coyote sues the dynamite company Acme, and somehow John Cena is there. It was a fully completed movie, and they killed it. I don't know why. They don't want us to have fun. Or at least that's what I would be saying if our heroes didn't step in. We have Ketchup Entertainment stepping in to acquire the rights of Coyote vs. Acme from Warner Bros. So that they can distribute it themselves. Our heroes. I just wanted to talk about that for a second. Back to Barbenheimer. Nolan's disagreement with Warner Bros. Over Project Popcorn is cited as the main reason for their split. Insider News speculated that positioning Barbie opposite Oppenheimer may have been a retaliatory move against Nolan for ending his long-standing collaborations with Warner Bros. Studios. The new leadership at Warner Bros., led by Michael De Luca and Pamela Abdi, later stated that they wished to reconcile with Nolan. That prompted box office analysts to question why the studio did not adjust Barbie's release date if reconciliation was the goal. Let me tell you, this is just PR speak right here, PR speak. Nolan was reportedly annoyed by Warner Bros.' decision to schedule Barbie on the same day as Oppenheimer. However, when asked by an insider journalist if the move was a direct response from Warner Bros., Nolan laughed and declined to comment. He then instead decided to state that theaters face a crowded marketplace with a lot of different movies, and those of us who care about movies are thrilled about that. When asked about the films sharing the same release date, Nolan told an IGN reporter that a crowded marketplace is here, and that's terrific.
Thank you for your patronage.
Both films exceeded box office expectations. Barbie became Warner Bros.' highest-grossing domestic release, surpassing Nolan's own Dark Knight, and it became the highest-grossing domestic release directed by a woman. In the US and Canada, Barbie earned $22.3 million in its Thursday premieres, while Oppenheimer made $10.5 million in its Thursday premiere. This prompted box office analysts to reevaluate the totals for both movies. The weekend projections for Barbie were at $160 million, and for Oppenheimer, $77 million. Ultimately, Barbie debuted at $162 million and Oppenheimer at $82.4 million. Barbie had a budget of $145 million and made worldwide $1,447,038,421. Oppenheimer, with a budget of $100 million, made $975,811,333 worldwide.
Wow!
Both Barbie and Oppenheimer had sparked controversy in Japan, where Oppenheimer was attacked mainly due to the title character's role in the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Barbie was also included in the controversy because of many memes that were circulating online. Memes including Barbie with the atomic bomb. Basically, the Japanese people found all of this humor and memes that America was spreading to be very blasphemous to their country. Due to the backlash, a hashtag called #NoBarbenheimer started a trend over Twitter, and in protest, some Japanese created Barbenheimer-style memes using imagery from September 11th. Although this approach actually backfired on the Japanese, as most Americans found the 9/11 related humor to be funny.
God damn it! Same shit, different day!
Barbenheimer is one of the rare instances of counter-programming, a marketing strategy in which two totally different films are released on the same day to appeal to both groups and to those who might have just heard about it through word of mouth. It strangely draws parallels to another film release by the same movie studios, Warner Brothers and Universal. These guys were beefing since July 18th, 2008, with the release of The Dark Knight and Mamma Mia! Jukebox Musical, which is hilarious when you think about it, because Christopher Nolan was in that too. He directed The Dark Knight, a very serious movie, paired with Mamma Mia!, a very tonally different movie. And this is not the only time in which that sort of marketing strategy has been used. In the video game space, it was notably used on March 20th, 2020, with the release of Animal Crossing New Horizons and Doom Eternal. Again, two totally contrasting IPs with two totally different gaming tones seemingly had another crossover phenomenon. And that wraps it up for our history of Barbenheimer. As you can see, it was a story of studio feuds, director decisions, and a tweet that sparked the fire of the bomb. And did I mention that the person who originally tweeted it out didn't even recall tweeting it? He didn't even recall making the tweet. Who knows if it was some intern or if it just spawned into the world. That's what I like to think. The tweet just spawned there, and we brought it to life through our collective imagination, through our collective enjoyment of the subject matter and the merging of these two franchises. You made this happen. That's right, you. I'm talking about you, the audience. You made this happen.